Trouble yourself not with the cost of this crusade. Its noble end affords you broad tolerance in your choice of means.
Yes, I suppose skeletons aren't noted for their vulnerability to bleeding. Maybe if you hit him really hard, you could get down to the marrow. Alright. Hey, everybody. I am, once again... sort of doing this right as I wake up, because I'm really good at sleeping. What should we do? What should we do? Honestly, the minus 15% virtue chance might actually be a thing in the courtyard, so I think I won't go in immediately, but... None of these trinkets are really inspiring me at the moment. Sad to say. I think I'll probably just do a short veteran mission to sort of burn off the virtue chance debuff. why I ended up so poor in this file, if we're being honest here. I feel like somewhere down the line I must have made bad financial decisions. I guess we need to do some more antiquarian runs and rebuild the family fortune.
Corruption has soaked the soil, sapping all good life from these groves. Let us burn out this evil.
If I had to guess, it might be because I don't do as many antiquarian runs on stream as I do in my other file, because they're kind of boring. And I at least nominally try to be entertaining.
The blood quickens.
Yeah, the operative word is try.
Slowly, gently. This is how a life is taken.
The leopard tends to suffer quite a bit against, excuse me, against enemies with high protection. Just kind of how that formula works out. To deal with high protection enemies efficiently, you either need damage over time effects or
Unforeseen.
basically killing them with
Unforgiving.
bug bites. Just lots of small instances of damage over time. Big hits don't do much unless you get a lucky crit.
Great is the weapon that cuts on its own. Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles. Wealth beyond measure, awarded to the brave and the foolhardy alike. Begone, fiend! Dazed, reeling, about to break.
One interesting
These
thing about the
nightmarish
Houndmaster
creatures
that I
can be
found is
felled.
maybe not
They can
altogether
be
often
beaten.
talked about is that Hound's Rush actually has bonus damage against beast-type enemies. So he's pretty effective in the wield. Or anywhere spiders can show up, I guess, which is a lot of places. He's also good in the Warrens. Honestly, Houndmaster is good everywhere. That's kind of his thing.
Masterfully executed.
If he can't bleed or do bonus damage, then he can always just be a stun bot. Or a mark bot. Dog is powerful, is what I'm driving at. Oh, the minute I said that, my own dog started barking, so I guess he agrees.
A decisive pummeling.
Now, conversely, since giants have no protection, to speak of anyway, they're actually very vulnerable to the big hits from the leper.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
Ow.
Death waits for the slightest lapse in concentration.
Unfortunately, we are all very vulnerable to getting hit in the face with a goddamn tree, so it all balances out in the end.
Prodigious size alone does not dissuade the sharpened blade. Nature herself, a victim to the spreading corruption, malformed with misintent.
I don't have room for all these portraits. Well, this is a get money run, so I don't really need heirlooms at the moment.
Exposed to a killing blow.
Trying to be a little bit better about using my doggy treats when they're available. I tend to have a very, save them until I need them mentality, but they're not that big of a deal, so it's better to just use them when you get the chance. They also take up an inventory spot, so...
Monstrous size has no intrinsic merit, unless inordinate exsanguination be considered a virtue. Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all. The light, the promise of safety.
We can keep going for a little bit. We're in pretty good shape. I'm saying right now, if you run into the collector, I might just run. I do not have the patience for that.
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter.
He is rarely a hard fight, but he's always an annoying one.
The wounds of war can be healed, but never hidden. Formation
It's kind of a shame that the collector, who has such a cool design, is kind of just a whatever, this is annoying fight.
The way is lit. The path is clear. We require only the strength to follow it.
Looks like we got nothing up ahead but a whole lot of curios, and that's fine with me.
A fortune, waiting to be spent.
Bleh.
A handsome reward for a task well performed.
Alright, that does it for this quest.
The agents of pestilence will yet be driven from our woods.
Hopefully, there's no debilitating town event next time, because I do want to head into the courtyard and make some progress on that.
In time, you will know the tragic extent of my failings.
Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do this mission first to get the bumper crop event. Then when we go into the courtyard, we can just basically take every supply item ever. I have not yet looked at the workshop very much. But I plan to, and I have seen just in the various, like, videos and stuff that I've watched of this game. There are some cool looking, fan-made classes and stuff. Like, I saw one where you get, like, this... You get the Lamia, which is, like an opera singer who can turn into this Medusa-looking creature. And there's one where there's a falconer, where you have a bow and a bird. And one of the skills is, like, called Eye Thief or something, which I thought was pretty funny. I'm sure a Vocaloid class does exist. I'll probably find it when I peruse for myself once this run is over.
Even the fiercest beast will lay down when it is not eaten. Steal their food.
Grandpa's hungry again.
Such blockages are unsurprising. These tunnels predate even the earliest settlers.
Percent is basically zero.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles. Decimated. Annihilated.
Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
Oh, I imagine that there's always a bunch of horny mods, but generally speaking, this is not a very horny game. I mean, with, like, the singular exception of the Cultist Enchantress.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms. Prodigious size alone does not dissuade the sharpened blade.
I mean, who can blame them? Who doesn't love a good titty bandage?
The match is struck. A blazing star is born.
Is the Plague Doctor still wearing the mask?
The way is lit. The path is clear. We require only the strength to follow it.
Well, I guess some people get turned on by that. Fucking whatever, man. Sydney's about to have an episode.
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
Don't panic, we have a loop.
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
Oh yeah, you can. The thing about horny mods is that they are almost always like of disconcertingly high quality.
Death waits for the slightest lapse in concentration.
Their cursed champion falls.
A trifling victory, but a victory nonetheless.
Haste chat. It's not that good. I found that trinkets that reduce the Vestal stun chance are actually kind of bad, because Dazzling Light is actually like low-key one of the best skills in the game just for general enemy management. I mean, I want flawless skin. Place really wants to give me portraits. Fine. I already have a solar crown, so I will sleep on that one. I mean, the men of Skyrim looking like ghouls feels fairly consistent with my experience with that game.
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter.
The ground quakes.
I'm Bellator, and I definitely don't eat children. Ha ha ha! I'll sell you my sister.
Eradicated.
These nightmarish creatures can be felled. They can be beaten.
In Radiance, may we find victory.
I mean, I guess it was kind of dopey, but it speaks somewhat to Skyrim's general impact and longevity that we're still talking about in the year of our Lord 2018, where it's getting approximately 5 more re-releases on next-generation consoles.
A spark without kindling is a goal without hope.
As the light gains purchase, spirits are lifted, and purpose is made clear.
Maybe once enough time has passed, I will actually try and
The
go
light, the
and
promise
play
of
one
safety.
of those Skyrim ports or special editions just for old time's sake. But I have so many hours in that game, and there's only so much you can do. Pig vomited on me, and now I just don't care about anything. Honestly, I would have the exact opposite reaction. I would be very animatedly caring about things at that precise moment.
Slowly, gently. This is how a life is taken.
Now it's just casual 42 damage. Leper with buffs is pretty scary. I figure like the kid named Dovahkiin is like legally obligated to play Skyrim, so he has context why his name is so fucking dumb.
Success so clearly in view. Or is it merely a trick of the light?
A handsome reward for a task well performed.
Alright, noting this altar for later, I might actually come back to it. We're in pretty good shape. I know this looks sort of dumb, but every time you do this, it's a surprise encounter. So, there is method to my madness. The idea is that I will get surprised and shuffled into an advantageous position. If not, well, fuck. We can always run.
A star spawned horror.
Ah, it almost worked. I like that even though we are in this terrible void between dimensions and stars, you can still hear pigs. I shouldn't have tossed my anti-venom. Oh well.
innovation and improvement.
I kept my bandages, though. That's good. Stop whining, you're fine.
How quickly the tide turns.
Probably focus on killing the Shambler at this point. Alright, it will die to bleed.
The space between worlds is no place for mortal men.
Alright, well, that went disappointingly well. Time to go.
These foodstuffs yield double benefit. The town may eat, and the swine will not.
I mean, I'm happy that I killed the Shambler, but it's sort of like, you know,
By the spreading calamity.
I was kind of hoping for something a little bit more, like, oh no, everybody is afflicted and somebody died. That was just kind of by the numbers. Also, the reward wasn't that good. We got the Tentacle Idol, which just increases, like, virtue chance. It's one of those things where it's like, it's an okay bonus, but also... Okay, that group is about as strong as it's gonna get. Alright, since we have the bumper crop, I am taking literally everything. This might seem excessive, and it probably is, but one, it's free, and two, I intend to stay here for a while.
The feasting and revelry would last for weeks at a time. Great stone tables were set with such an abundance of rare delicacies that we would stuff ourselves until the exotic became mundane. When the lavish spread began to spoil, a ravenous gourmand gleefully proposed that we sample from the fetid pile of composting refuse. The notion was dismissed as decidedly unhealthy. But days later, he was found cackling madly atop a heap of rancid comestibles, licking his fingers in delight. The corpulent braggart could never eat his fill. Let him dine on sharpened steel tonight.
So, yeah, we're back in here. It's the courtyard. We are probably going to be ignoring a number of curios until we have inventory space to actually activate them to any real effect. There's definitely a reason why I insisted on coming here with so many supplies. This is champion level courtyard, and this place is pretty tough.
Slowly. Gently.
I was actually going to devote
This
some
is
time
how
talking about how
life is taken.
skewering repartee is actually extremely dangerous, but then he completely fucked it, so, now it's moving on. definite possibility that
Confidence surges as the enemy
this
crumbles.
particular excursion will not go as long as I wanted it to. Christ.
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter.
Because I did not really bring a reliable stress healer. And it can pile up in here, so I'll just have to see how it goes. I was trying something new.
As the fiend falls,
The courtesans are still probably the biggest priority target. Just because they can do the Midnight Minuet buff and it's gives everybody a huge damage buff, and it's not good. It's not a good time. Hollowville, we need to have a talk about this
Formation is
behavior. It's
broken.
quite troubling.
Maintain the offensive.
Continue the onslaught.
Destroy them all.
as victories mount, so too will resistance.
So, as was the case with previous instances of epic quests in the courtyard, our goal is to find keys and open the way. This isn't really a loot collecting mission. I specifically did bumper crops so we could take a bunch of supplies and stuff without having to worry about the monetary costs. It's much more important in the courtyard, at least in my opinion, to have a bunch of bandages and antidotes and stuff like that that you can use to keep your heroes alive, rather than gather loot.
Precision and power.
Decimated.
Thus far, things have been going pretty okay. But things can turn against you in champion-level courtyard missions real quickly.
A decisive pummeling.
This is one of the Flagellant's more unique abilities. Endure basically lets you transfer stress. The Flagellant has a very powerful self-stress remove at camp ability, so even if you don't have a Jester to really sustain it, you can still manage your stress fairly efficiently
Success
with it.
so clearly in view. Or is it merely a trick of the light?
As in all courtyard missions, there is an awful lot of walking around. Well, that just kind of comes with the territory. It's big and long.
Masterfully executed.
Lots of bugs to kill. Every fight is sort of an exercise in
Unbalanced.
managing how much damage you take and how many resources you expend.
A powerful blow. The slow death. Unforeseen.
You obviously want to take
Unforgiving.
heroes that can do a lot. Hell, that was just a random
These
ass drop.
nightmarish creatures can be felled. They can be beaten.
Okay, well, we're definitely making room for that. I have never seen an ancestor trinket just fucking drop from a random shit encounter. Highly irregular, it should be said. I have gone through here before, so I do sort of at least know where I'm going, but also I am looking at a map, just for the sake of expediency. I don't think it would be all that fun to watch me get lost in here for an eternity. Or maybe it would be, I don't know. Jeez, what's this? He only has 65 bleed resist. What's going on here? Unfortunate.
Dazed.
Very unfortunate.
Reeling. About to break.
Yeah, the Barrens is like just this nightmarish collection of random bullshit. The path of the Viscount is, it's sort of winding, but it's more linear.
Great is the weapon that cuts on its own.
There are less places where you can just sort of go in circles forever.
A trifling victory, but a victory nonetheless.
It pains me to leave it all behind, but we need to keep our eyes on the Viscount prize. Alright, I happen to know for a fact that there is a battle with a crocodile down here. But given that I just fought the Shambler, I feel like I've fulfilled my really bad idea quota for this stream, at least for a little while. Let's go where we should go. Fight does have the potential to get very nasty very quickly. I think since there are 2 Esquires, I should focus on eliminating at least one of them.
Annihilated.
That's not good. Oh well. I'll figure out how to deal somehow. I guess... well, never mind. I missed! Can you believe it?
How quickly
Jesus
the tide
Christ. That's why skewering repartee fucking sucks. Most of my party's health. Alright, I would... well, she's gonna die to bleed, so that's fine, but... for now, I need to focus on damage control. Funnily enough, the Esquires are much less dangerous in their buggy form.
eradicated.
Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
we're still probably pretty far off from the darkest dungeons. Not necessarily because I can't do them, but because there's still a lot of stuff to do beforehand. We still have a bunch of champion bosses to defeat and various Crimson Courtyard stuff to do. I guess maybe we could make a quick run into the first one at some point and see how it goes. Oh, by the way, that key I picked up is completely worthless. It's a trap. There's no reason to pick it up. If you got this far, then you can just keep going down and you'll actually bypass the door it unlocks entirely. Video games? There we go. Never like to crash. I picked it up so you could all get the authentic experience of the Viscount's Courtyard, which is fucking hell. Statistically unlikely, but I'll allow it. I'm enraged! Yes, this is normal darkest difficulty.
Obliterated.
So, characters can only go into the darkest dungeon once. Which is a somewhat strange design choice if you ask me, but it is what the fuck? It is what it is.
Mortality clarified in a single strike.
Okay, fine, sure. Yeah, whatever.
Seize this momentum. Push on to the task's end.
Yeah, if you retreat, you can send them back in, I think under vociferous protest. But one one character is guaranteed to die at some point if you retreat. This foray might not last as long as I wanted it to, but maybe we'll get lucky and we'll find some wine bottles to smash. Friend is probably gonna get afflicted here with the ghoul. Yeah, he's just gonna toss his skull like an asshole and
The walls close in. The shadows whisper of conspiracy.
give me a chance. This is why I brought the laudanum.
Festering fear consumes the mind.
Alright, I guess that, priority number one at this point is to get Frenda
Brilliant
unafflicted.
confluence of skill and purpose. Prodigious size alone does not dissuade the sharpened blade. Curious is the trap maker's art, his efficacy unwitnessed by his own eyes.
So yeah, stuff goes bad in here sometimes, and it's not the end of the world.
Destroyed. Soothed. Sedated.
The thing about the flagellant is that it's not necessarily a completely bad thing if he gets afflicted, because he will always get the special affliction Rapturous.
A singular strike.
Which is, like, sort of tailored to the flagellant to sort of be like, a sort of quasi high risk, high reward buff.
impressive. Ghoulish horrors, brought low and driven into the mud.
Fortunately, there are a lot of stress healing curios in the courtyard, so even if you don't bring a jester, you can keep yourself going for at least a little while. Sadly, I don't have any way to remove Death's Door in this party, so Brenda will just have to live with that debuff for a while.
Inspiration and improvement.
The ground quakes.
Paranoia is a fun affliction. As much as an affliction can be fun, I guess.
A devastating blow.
Basically, just the afflicted character keeps screaming about how everybody's a traitor. Which is certainly an interesting hypothesis.
This expedition at least promises success.
Well, we got the damn key, so I might as well unlock the damn door. Seems almost guaranteed that my flagellant is going to get rapturous here, so I'm just going to go ahead and exchange afflictions, more or less.
One can sometimes find clarity in madness, but only rarely. A dizzying blow to body and brain.
Ideally, we will find a spot to camp here soonish. Yeah, sure, you hit her. Grumble. Honestly, that's more or less okay, because she does have the trinket that makes her damage go up as HP goes down.
Monstrous size has no intrinsic merit, unless inordinate exsanguination be considered a virtue.
Hope you choke on that key. And there's nothing even there. Total waste of time. I don't know why they designed it that way. You can give those guys blood for treasure, but I need my blood, and I don't have room for treasure. Okay.
Perched at the very precipice of oblivion.
Oh, you're fine. You're a flatulent.
Their cursed champion falls.
See? No problem.
A victory. Perhaps the turning point.
I do not think we are in the... I don't think we're gonna fight the crocodilian. He's scary.
A handsome reward for a task well performed.
That's annoying. I don't mind the damage so much, but the stun is going to make this take longer.
The blood quickens.
confusion, nerves, and panic.
I should probably play it safe and heal. Never mind. Fucking idiot shit.
Be wary. Triumphant pride precipitates a dizzying fall.
Oh yeah, this is so exciting. Sometimes you can get really good trinkets in here, sometimes you don't.
Glittering gold, trinkets and baubles, paid for in blood.
Incoming hunger check. Okay, we found some firewood, so we can at least camp and try to take stock of ourselves.
A time to perform beyond
Tired of
one's
missing.
limits.
Sadly, I don't have quite the back row reach necessary to kill the Chevalier before he acts, but I can usually survive just at least one from him. Alright, he'll die to bleed. Get owned, nerd.
Gathered close in tenuous firelight and uneasy companionship.
Okay. have no better idea than to get fucking drunk, so... I'm not sure if we can get Hovel unafflicted by the end of this, but by God, we'll try. We might find some more stress-relieving curios. Yes, yes, he must have the blood. He needs to bleed, after all. Alright, where the hell am I? One thing I sorta don't like about the courtyard is that the map is too big for the panel. We don't need that food right now.
Uncertainty, the birthplace of dread.
I would say that laudanum will save on enough stress damage over time to make it a worthwhile addition to your supplies for the courtyard.
Death waits for the slightest lapse in concentration.
I guess at this point the question is, do I focus on getting Hovel unafflicted, or do I focus on making sure nobody else does? I guess we'll just sort of have to play it by ear. I like that one of the traps in the courtyard is just a shitty jump scare that causes bleed. We have more than enough food and ways to get food. So we could basically just camp again immediately with the interest of reducing stress. Case in point. One of the neat things about the courtyard is that the disposition of the boss currently in charge sort of has an effect on what kind of curios you will find there. Since the Viscount is a self-proclaimed gourmand, you will find lots of food here.
Grievous injury. Palpable fear.
Ah, not quite. Oh well. Gonna try to not take too much damage from this fight and then camp immediately.
Ears, blurred vision. The end approaches.
Like, I wouldn't describe that as good, but it's okay. A low health flagellant can often get back more HP than he's lost. Yeah, show that corpse who's boss.
A spark without kindling is a goal without hope.
More parties.
Finding the stuff is only the first test. Now it must be carried home.
It seems that a steady supply of strong booze is making a pretty significant dent on our stress bars, so depending on what curios we find, we might be able to just sort of equalize and return to normal and keep going for as long as we need. As is customary, every time we find a key, now we have to backtrack a bunch. I may start looking into curios to try and find more blood. We're running a little bit low. Trying to conserve my torches a bit. They are useful, both to boost accuracy and to interact with some curios. And if we run into shifting mists, we'll need one to clear it without going 5 million miles off course. I'm out of laudanum, so we're just gonna have to deal with this. Holy shit. Guy knows what he's doing. He's not even bothering to try and inflict HP damage. He's just making a nuisance of himself. Sometimes this is just how battles with ghouls go, but I can't afford to leave the Esquire alive because
The bigger the beast,
he might just
the
murder me
greater the
with
glory.
skewering repartee. Difficult situation. guess we'd better camp again.
Huddled together, furtive and vulnerable. Rats in a maze.
You are not coping well. Do not bullshit me. Alright, this is not technically the way to go, but there is something valuable at the end of the path that I want to get, so we're going anyway. Wait, no, I did that at the wrong time. This map is big. I get confused. So, the first time I did this dungeon, I made the mistake of bringing a Vestal with Dipsomania in, and she would just immediately interact with every fucking wine crate ever, and I would not get to camp ever. It was so frustrating.
Circle in the dark. The battle may yet be won.
Okay, thanks to our copious amount of firewood, we have managed to bring Hovel down from Rapturous and sort of restore normalcy. At current projected rates, we could reach the Viscount, yes, but I probably will not fight him. This is not a particularly good party for it. This is mostly just about clearing the way as much as possible.
Mind that such missteps are the exception, and not the rule.
Depending on if we find any more blood or not, we might need to pull out a little bit early just so nobody wastes away. On the bright side, we have burned through enough of our supply items that we can actually start picking up loot now. Sorry, my phone buzzed and I don't know why. The tremendous hangover that all of my heroes are experiencing is starting to take its toll, and I'm not hitting very many shots. Now that the flagellant is mostly back to normal, I can start using Endure again if I feel like I need to. But I will probably try to be a little bit more conservative with it. I don't think there's enough wine bottles left on the map to actually get stressed down from that level again. Nope, this is my blood. Go away. I still have 3 shovels left because I brought 2 full stacks. A shovel is a girl's best friend. Make of that what you will. That is a bit of a problem. We do not have any more blood left. But burn these bugs and you'll feel better. Blood in here, perhaps? No. he's actually using damaging moves. How rare. Alright, Ghoul is dead to bleed. Fly is dead to pickaxe. Truth of the matter is, I don't think there are any curios in here that use keys.
Watch your step.
Ah, the blood. We have finally found the object of our search, this special-looking chest.
Compassion is a rarity in the fevered pitch of battle.
We might need more blood. I probably don't need all that holy water, actually. Aha! In this chest is always a Crimson Court trinket. When paired together, Crimson Court trinkets are some of the strongest in the game. Or sometimes they're just kind of garbage, but... the chance of getting one is worth the trip, basically. The Man-at-Arms trinkets in particular are very strong if you get both of them because they boost damage and accuracy when you're riposting. So you can basically turn what is a tank class into a damage-dealing monster. I'm gonna leave this be for now, actually. We don't need to camp, and we might need the shovel later. I have never seen... I don't think the Fanatic can show up here, actually. I mean, for all I know, the Fanatic can't show up literally anywhere, despite how much I try. You do take a stress penalty for leaving, which sorta sucks, but it is what it is. This is also like one of the worst configurations in the game. They don't do that much damage, but they just take forever to kill because they all guard each other. It begins. And of course, they also have their lifesteal bullshit, so if you don't kill him in one shot, you're not killing him at all. Well, that's slightly an exaggeration, but...
A momentary abatement.
Basically, the thing is, if you don't kill them in a hurry, you're not going to kill them in a hurry. It will take forever because they're super good at just fucking surviving. And while you won't really be in much danger of actually dying from them, you will probably accrue a lot of stress damage over time just because the thirst inflicts it and so does refined palate. So annoying. Well, we will need this blood, I am pretty sure. More than the anti-venom. Good thing I brought 2 full stacks of shovels.
Hacks laden with loot are often low on supplies.
I'm out of medicinal herbs and I don't need food, so I'm just gonna leave those alone. Maggots have ridiculously high stun resistance for a reason I'm not really sure of, so I'm just gonna leave them be for a while. They're not very threatening. Nibble, nibble, nibble. Oh boy, this could be nasty. We are just about at the limit of our operational capacity, so we'll probably have to leave soon.
A momentary abatement.
But on the bright side, we're nearly done. We're almost to the boss. Then we can regroup and come in with heroes that are well suited to fighting him. Wonderful. It's like my first couple turns never happened. I have some real the thirst stories to tell y'all when we get to a certain point. Because that move has fucked me over a lot. I hate it when they're one off. It's like the worst feeling. Do we have Brawler's gloves? I think we have Brawler's gloves back at the trinket chest. Alright, here is another Crimson Court trinket, the Dissection Kit. This is for the Plague Doctor. A number of the Crimson Court trinkets sort of function to make the hero in question function a little bit differently. Like that one boosts damage to make Incision a more viable move to use. It also boosts the bleed chance. So if you want to do more of like a frontline Plague Doctor, that could potentially be viable. Alright, this could potentially hurt a lot, but at least the Courtesan won't buff everybody's damage up. I still feel vindicated in my fear of that move. I mean, you saw how bad it went one time. Just because the other 2 times it fucked up real bad doesn't mean it's not scary. The riposte is more of an annoyance than anything. It's just that, for whatever reason, it has huge damage dispersion.
Mechanical hazards possessed by evil intent.
Exposed to a killing blow.
Oh, you're fine. These missions might be a little bit too long. I mean, I am sort of not doing it right in that I'm doing most of it in just like one go, but Othel might be getting afflicted again. Honestly, that's fine. Like I said before, he is less dangerous in buggy form. Yeah, it's a bit hypocritical. But honestly, the heroes in this game will stress the fuck out about anything, so... Oh no, I read a book and I realized I'm illiterate. Time to have a heart attack.
Compassion is a rarity in the fevered pitch of battle.
Another sort of odd thing that I've noticed about the courtyard is that Grandpa doesn't seem to talk very much when you're inside of it. All 8 shovels used, hell yeah. Always come prepared. Alright, I'm gonna save that. Ribcracker, despite its somewhat ominous sounding name, is actually probably the least dangerous attack. All it does is move them back and potentially move you back. Oh, you fucker. Are you kidding me? Actually, he definitely has unique lines for the Crimson Court. Like, there's whole cutscenes. It's just that, for whatever reason, the, frequency of his lines are just low in here. Inevitable.
Madness, our old friend.
Well, we'll be leaving soon, so it's not a big deal. Honestly, these guys are kind of getting in each other's way. If he hadn't done Deafening Wine, I wouldn't have been able to stun the Chevalier. I pronounced it right! I think.
Such a terrible assault cannot be left unanswered.
Well, this is familiar.
Fear and frailty finally claim their due.
Just a little bit more to go. In fact, we should probably bug out after this room. Yeah, I think we can safely retreat at this point.
You cannot learn a thing you think you know.
We dug for months, years, an eternity, and we were rewarded with madness.
Alright. We're gonna have those four just chill out for a while and try and de-stress from all that. In the meantime, we'll do something else. Yeah, sure, let's kill the siren. There's nothing really worth bleeding in the cove, so I'm not sure I'll take along our new trinket. Sure, whatever. Want to make sure everybody is more or less up to date. Party doesn't really have a great healer, so I'm going to take more food than I probably need to. Definitely want as much holy water as I can carry, though. It is most helpful against this boss.
In financial desperation, I struck a bargain with the ancient things that surfaced in search of sacrifice when the moon was right. Their price was the delivery of an obscure idol, and one other item of more troubling portent. The pact struck. My newfound accomplices slipped silently beneath the brackish water. A fearful stirring at the edge of the torchlight betrayed a familiar witness, and gifted me with malign inspiration. I always wondered what became of the unfortunate little waif.
A handsome reward for a task well performed.
The degree to which I don't want to deal with these idiots is pretty high.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
Like, I don't actually care very much if somebody gets the Crimson Curse here. We are in the position to once again cure everybody who has it, so...
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
This is mostly just to buy time while people de-stress. A couple of those... I want the Flagellant and the Grave Robber on my team when I fight the Viscount.
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter.
Ghoulish horrors, brought low and driven into the mud.
They're both quite useful in that fight. Oh, oops, I forgot to put on any plague skills. I'll just stun these guys.
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive. Another one falls.
Armor pen, gotta love it. I think that a worthwhile avenue. Oh, every time you beat a courtyard boss, everybody who is inflicted with the Crimson Curse gets it removed. But then afterwards, the infestation starts growing again, and you start getting reinfected. Once you defeat the Countess, you can actually just cure the Crimson Curse in the sanitarium like a regular disease.
Impressive.
Anyway, as I was saying, I think that a good avenue of inquiry for mods is sort of just like a rebalancing to give more characters armor penetration and stuff to deal with high protection enemies that fucking suck.
The blood quickens. Is the weapon that cuts on its own.
Like, there are a couple of just general balance things I could think of off the top of my head that I would change. Like, I would make Zealous Accusation a melee skill.
The slow death. Unforeseen. Unforgiving.
I would make the, Man-at-Arms Repose skill work from the back row. And there's a bunch of other stuff that I thought of while going through my other file where it's like, wait a minute, why doesn't this work this way?
Wealth beyond measure, awarded to the brave and the foolhardy alike. The match is struck. A blazing star is born.
The boss should be in this square right here.
The way is lit. The path is clear. We require only the strength to follow it.
So the Man-at-Arms has a very goofy build where he stands in the back row with a special trinket and just yells buffs and uses the bodyguard ability. So he does stand in front of people and eat shit. It's just he does it from the back row. And with the trinket, he has like 1 billion protection. He gets more health received and. Like, it would work out pretty well if not for the fact that he has literally no ability to do damage from the back row. It's like, they thought of this build and they wanted people to do it.
For the slightest lapse in concentration.
But it has a significant hole in it, so I'm not really sure what they were
Prodigious size
thinking.
alone does not dissuade the sharpened blade.
Success so clearly in view. Or is it merely a trick of the light? In Radiance, may we find victory.
Quickly the tide turns.
I'll be glad to be rid of these bloodsuckers for a while.
Destroyed.
The ground quakes.
Annihilated.
These nightmarish creatures can be felled. They can be beaten. Finding the stuff is only the first test. Now it must be carried home.
Nope. Not gonna.
light, the promise of safety.
Back to the pit.
I feel like one Shambler fight per stream is probably okay.
A trifling victory, but a victory nonetheless. As the light gains purchase, spirits are lifted, and purpose is made clear.
Decimated.
Worth a try.
Slowly, gently. This is how a life is taken.
As victories mount, so too will resistance.
Alright, making some slight adjustments.
Huddled together, furtive and vulnerable. Rats in a maze.
Alright, all that really is left is to just hope that this snake battle goes okay.
Sand and serpent choke out hope of wholesome reverie.
Such a terrible assault cannot be left unanswered.
This is more stealth dudes than I was expecting, but I guess that's fine. I think we'll be okay, though. The guys that are stealthed aren't really special. They just are stealthed. Imagine that.
Hated.
This expedition at least promises success.
So each time you clear a snake battle, you get a special trinket and you get a journal entry for the Shieldbreaker's backstory. You also get some Aegis scales and a lot of shit, actually. Jeez. I don't think there's anything left that can bleed us. Well, no, I'll keep the bandages just in case, but I don't think there's anything that can... No. Pressure... I think we'll be okay. As far as I can tell, the only thing that bringing in journal pages does is it adds them to the ancestors' memoirs. And it prevents them from appearing again. So, paradoxically, if you just don't want to deal with journal pages, the best way to do it is just to bring them home. Alright, everybody is doused in holy water.
The aquatic devils have remade the poor girl in their image. She is their queen and their slave.
The reason for that is that you can actually resist Song of Desire. So if you put on holy water, you have a pretty decent chance of just annulling what she's doing at any given time.
decisive pummeling.
Oh, come on. Don't be that way. I believe that Song of Desire technically counts as a debuff. So debuff resistance should do well against it. She really wants the Abomination. Oh no, she got him. That could be bad. Provided we kill her quickly enough, it shouldn't be too much of a problem. Jesus!
And now the true test. Hold fast, or expire.
I'm gonna go ahead and use the Aegis Scale there just as insurance.
Hideous matriarch, vile queen of the aphotic depths. She has no place in the sane world.
Well, yes. I suppose that's a good time as any to get going. My strategy almost worked out flawlessly. It's just she got lucky on one of them and always used it on the Abomination because she knew that guy did hella damage.
Once, our estate was the envy of this land.
Ah, my Paralyzer's crest. Oh, Hovel's still flagellating. That's unfortunate. God, there's just nothing worth doing right now. Thinking. wish you could just pass a week or something. I don't even begin to have enough money to upgrade everything that I want. Alright, what can I do without? That should at least cover the cost of the next expedition. Yeah, this will do. Okay.
Corruption has soaked the soil, sapping all good life from these groves. Let us burn out this evil.
brilliant confluence of skill and purpose.
This composition can't really, their composition, I mean. Fuck off. Can't really, take that. Holy shit on a stick.
And now the true test. Hold fast, or expire.
Oh, this is going just swimmingly.
Devastating blow.
The slow death. Unforeseen. Unforgiving.
Well, this fight, I would say, has gone about as badly as it could have possibly gone.
Press disadvantage. Give them no quarter.
Okay, it's like nothing ever happened. I just have to kill this giant now and we'll be done with the first fight in the dungeon.
Grievous injury. Palpable fear.
I suppose it's perfectly normal for that to happen twice in one fight. Dismas is having a fucking time.
Such a terrible assault cannot be left unanswered.
Okay, we're not dead. And when it comes down to it, can you really ask for anything more?
Glittering gold, trinkets and baubles. Paid for in blood.
A singular strike. Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
There's not a lot to say about this fight at the moment. Just two enemies that like to deal stress damage. I have a jester, so I'm doing my best. And missing a lot. Missing, like, actually disturbingly a lot.
The abyss returns even the boldest gaze. Gnawing uncertainty.
Fucking native torches, dude.
Birthplace of dread. Prodigious size alone does not dissuade the sharpened blade.
Wealth beyond measure, awarded to the brave and the foolhardy alike.
What's in here? Oh, I know you.
Annihilated.
Old people go home. That definitely could have been bad.
Obliterated.
They're picking on my man-at-arms. construction is not doing me a good turn right now.
Unbalanced.
But at least we're more or less back to where we need to be. That's more like it.
Well struck.
A victory. Perhaps a turning point.
A fortune, waiting to be spent.
Alright, so we've been through like, what, 3 rooms and we're... Well, we're doing okay. Dismas has seen better days, but he'll pull through. I'm confident. He has his head to guide him along. Hopefully, this means that most of the room battles in this dungeon were front-loaded. So I don't have too many more to do.
As the light gains purchase, spirits are lifted, and purpose is made clear.
Sort of itching to get back to the courtyard and fight the Viscount.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
But we gotta finish this first, due to various circumstances.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all. Dizzying blow to body and brain. Success so clearly in view. Or is it merely a trick of the light?
The light, the promise of safety.
Okay, I won't. Tweel is going to have an episode if I don't do something soon. I feel like you've said this before.
Diminished. Eradicated.
As victories mount, so too will resistance.
Looks like we still have one or two more to go. Hopefully just one.
Nature herself, a victim to the spreading corruption, malformed with misintent.
A handsome reward for a task well performed.
Well, at least you still get the buff even if you miss.
Death waits for the slightest lapse in concentration.
Are you fucking kidding me, dude? You literally can't act from that position. We might need to run from this. Holy shit, stop!
unwound.
No fucking way.
As life ebbs, terrible vistas of emptiness reveal themselves. This is no place for the weak or foolhardy.
Well,
Decimated.
I feel slightly annoyed. And by slightly annoyed, I mean like really fucking annoyed. At this confluence of bad fortune that has put me in this position. That was my only man-at-arms, too.
Inspiration and improvement.
A trifling victory, but a victory nonetheless.
That really shouldn't have happened, and I'm kind of bummed out.
The agents of pestilence will yet be driven from our woods.
Oh well. Hopefully we can, like, I don't know. Find a reasonably leveled man-at-arms on the cart.
Back across the sticks. Boatmen be damned.
Oh, why couldn't it have been the man-at-arms? I have all of these classes. All these people suck. I fucking level 3. Fine, I'll take the level 3 Vestal. Can't have too
A
many
sister
Vestals.
of battle, pious and unrelenting. More arrive, foolishly seeking fortune and glory
In this domain of the damned.
Alright, well, I've upgraded the stagecoach as much as I can, so now we just kind of have to wait. As much as I like the Berserk Charm and how goofy it looks, I don't need 2 of them.
A strict regimen is paramount if one is to master the brutal arithmetic of combat.
Take the Aegis skills with me just in case. They might come in handy. Alright, this should be sufficient. We don't have very far to go. Alright, hopefully we can get rid of the Viscount without too much going wrong.
Curious is the trap maker's art, his efficacy unwitnessed by his own eyes. A singular strike.
We have 2 goals at the moment. Find a red key, and then backtrack to where that last wine crate was.
Destroyed. A momentary abatement.
I kind of want to save the Bloodlust for the boss. But maybe that's not feasible. It lasts a while.
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter.
Okay, he's guarding the mosquito instead of the real threat, so I think we'll be okay.
Dazed, reeling, about to break.
For fuck's sake, come on!
Grievous injury. Palpable fear.
Gnawing uncertainty. The
birthplace of dread.
The slow death. Unforeseen. Unforgiving.
Impressive.
Obliterated. Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
Comedy of errors here.
A trifling victory, but a victory nonetheless.
Alright, all is not lost.
A fortune, waiting to be spent.
Huddled together, furtive and vulnerable. Rats in a maze.
Alright, so we're doing alright. Like, I wanted to use some buffs, but I kind of had to devote all of my respite time to just recovering. Ugh. The problem with champion level dungeons, sometimes they just go really wrong. Well, we found the boss at least.
Finding the stuff is only the first test. Now it must be carried home. Wealth beyond measure, awarded to the brave and the foolhardy alike.
It's food, Dismas.
If
It's
only
just
treasure
food.
could staunch the flow of otherworldly corruption.
Still just food.
glutton's taste for morbidity is made more pronounced by his mutation.
Alright, well, this is the Viscount. He has a gimmick to him. Because of course he does. Every so often he will use one of three moves. Miserly Morsel, Square Meal, or whatever this one is called, Gluttonous Feast or something. This will heal him and buff him in proportion to the
Masterfully
kind of corpse he ate
executed.
from.
Keen ears, blurred vision. The end approaches. As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
So, generally, the recommended way to kill him is to take out the bigger bodies first, so he has to eat from the small one. Which doesn't do much of anything. It should be noted that the Viscount has much less health than the Baron does. Well, that's not good.
Reeling, gasping, taken over the edge into madness. A hand's breadth from becoming unwound. Patched up, if only to bleed again.
Hungry Eyes puts a riposte on him. It doesn't do that much damage, but it will add up because you sort of need to attack him a lot. Dismas, you are not immortal. Stop that.
Perched at the very precipice of oblivion. Let us hope he enjoyed his last meal, served cold as it was.
Alright, well, we beat him. Hooray. Back to town. For our efforts, we get a sizable 25,000 gold, the Viscount spices, an invitation from the Countess, and a random Crimson Court trinket. The Osmond chains in our case.
The virulent clouds from the courtyard have abated. The airs of the estate feel narrowly agreeable once again.
Alright, so, as promised, sort of, we beat the Viscount. We didn't even lose anybody to him. Our only casualty this stream came from something completely fucking unrelated and stupid. We now have access to the Countess's version of the courtyard. And the reward for this is the Atonement Beads, which is for the Vestal. Given that we have 4 minutes before the stream usually stops, I don't think that we'll poke our heads in there just yet. That will be for next week. Love that mustache cream. A lot of the ancestor trinkets are really silly. Oh, sorry. If it helps, you did like 1 billion damage to him. If you know what you're doing, the Viscount is actually a very short fight. It's not necessarily easy, it's just short. Unlike the Baron, which tends to take literally forever. But anyway, I think that's enough for today. We still need to mourn our man-at-arms. Thank you all for tuning in. Tomorrow, I think we will probably do more Stellaris, because people seem to like that, even though it kind of fried my brain. Same time as usual. After that, day after that will be more Subnautica. Maybe try and finish that up. I have no real estimation of how long that will take, so it might be another longer stream. But until then, thank you for watching. I hope that you have a very pleasant rest of the evening, and I'll talk to you later.